This is Next 5 Minutes. The title for today's session is Meet Me Where I'm Going to Be. We all know that the best way to connect with someone in any kind of relationship is to meet them where they are. But as today's title suggests, the relationship will require more than just that. I once commissioned a survey and posted the results to LinkedIn that measured how well the respondents knew their managers and how long they knew them. Just these two questions told a powerful story. For question 1, how long have you known your manager? The choices included less than 6 months, 6 months to 1 year, and over 1 year. The second question, how well do you know your manager? These are the choices. Not too long, somewhat, and very well. The data showed that the longer the relationship, the less these workers thought they knew their managers. Now this is counterintuitive. How can this be? I believe the managers did a good job at meeting their teams where they are, initially. But they may not have done a good job of meeting their teams where they are going to be. And so knowing someone for a long time does not mean you know them well. And that is the basis for the next 5 minutes. A Gallup poll released on October 23, 2017 found that 75% of the workers said they would consider leaving their jobs because of their managers. As we go along, we'll glean some insightful information about the study. I like to look at relationships like railway tracks that all parties involved are work to build together. Now, at some point, we know that the relationship or the track will receive a load. Some event, it could be a hardship introduced as a goal or a deadline or request, some change that requires action. This is all acceptable. But here's the problem. Without relationship tracks, your team will have a difficult time moving the load. That's right. We need good relationships with our teams in order to have good production. Now, some managers, seeing the difficulties ahead, might instinctively use their power and authority to push their teams to push their work over the finish line. And this is not the most desirable condition for two reasons. One, and this is proven, it's easier to pull a load across a flat surface than it is to push one. And so the orientation for the leader with respect to the team is forward, as in leading from the front. You're going to pull a team forward. You're not pushing them in the back. It even sounds weird to say, but that's what it might feel like to them. Now, this method might work occasionally depending on the team, and that might get the load over the finish line, but not everyone will be happy. Why? Well, this is because they also did not push their feelings across the finish line. Remember the 75% of the respondents to that Gallup poll? They're still holding on to their feelings. This is interesting too. Apparently, it's easier to hold on to something than it is to let go, even if it's bad for us. Now, sometimes people work up to their feelings, and sometimes they work up to their professional capacity. That's where you come in as a leader. You lead them from their feelings through their professional capacity. Consider this. When a team is put into the position of having to move a load and there is no relationship, they put their shoulder into it. They struggle. They pedal in place. This sounds like burnout, right? Okay, let's get back on track. Is it possible to rally your team quickly to build relationship tracks directly in front of a load? Sure. But this is hard, and it doesn't seem sincere. If your team perceives you as only building relationship tracks where there is a load present, it will look or appear as if you have a relationship to the load or the work and not to them. Now, when we meet people where they're going to be, we make room for the relationship to grow. More importantly, the better we are at creating and maintaining relationships, the better our leadership is. I believe a lot of people are more inclined to follow relationships than leadership anyway. You know, we should look to see what our leaders are doing, and we also look to see what our contemporaries are doing. We know we should follow our leaders, but I'm sure there's been at least some point in our lives where we were influenced to follow the relationship tracks that we had with the group. But we are speculative track builders. We should take a page out of the operative track building handbook. Planners and engineers don't make tracks that are random or convenient. What they build is intentional. They know where they want to go. They will level ground or raise it as needed. They identify milestones along the way. They even have a timeline for the scope of the work. Speculative builders, leaders, should do the same. We should determine where we want to take the relationship. What are the important factors, and how do we get to each one? Now, I don't want to get in trouble with HR, but we might have a different relationship with each person on our team. Some are visual learners, some need repetition, some may have insecurities that need to be addressed. But if you're waiting for an opportunity to improve your relationships, you've waited too long. Where there should be tracks, there will be feelings. Now, if you followed me over the last few years, you've heard me say this many times. Lead your purpose, manage your principles. In this example, principles are the feelings we get when we engage in purpose. Now, this relationship that we have through these videos, I bring awareness and you bring understanding. Awareness is a realization of where you are, and understanding is a realization of where you used to be. If you understand where you were, there's no need to return to it. Or you could put yourself in the uncomfortable position of having to push through your own feelings when you should be leading them. Thank you for your understanding, but don't stay here long. I'll need you to meet me where I'm going to be. I'm Abrams, you're awesome. I'll see you in the next 5 minutes.